How to make your ex miss you. An open letter. Dear friend, if you're reading this letter, chances are you're carrying a weight that feels heavier than words can describe. The relationship ended, the call stopped, the messages became shorter and then disappeared altogether, and now you're left with memories, questions, and a longing that seems to follow you everywhere. One question often echoes louder than the rest. How can I make my ex miss me? It's a natural question. When someone who once played a major role in your life is suddenly absent, it's normal to want them to think about you, wonder about you, and perhaps even regret losing you. But before we talk about how to make your ex miss you, it's important to understand something that many people overlook. Making someone miss you is not about manipulation. It's not about playing games, creating jealousy, or pretending to be someone you're not. The most powerful way to make your ex miss you is to become the version of yourself that doesn't need to chase their attention. Ironically, the moment you stop making your life revolve around their absence is often the moment your presence becomes impossible to ignore. So this letter isn't about tricks. It's about growth. It's about healing. It's about becoming someone whose value is felt even when they're not in the room. Let's begin. Stop chasing. One of the biggest mistakes people make after a breakup is chasing. They send constant texts. They call repeatedly. They find reasons to stay connected. They like every social media post. They create opportunities for accidental encounters. The problem is that constant availability leaves no room for absence. People cannot miss what never leaves. Imagine listening to your favorite song every minute of every day. Eventually, even a beautiful melody becomes background noise. The same principle applies to relationships. When you constantly appear in your ex's life, you remove the opportunity for them to wonder where you are, what you're doing, or how you're feeling. Give space. Not because you're trying to punish them. Not because you're hoping they'll panic. But because both of you deserve room to breathe. Silence often says more than 100 emotional messages. Focus on yourself again. Before the relationship, you had dreams. You had goals. You had hobbies. You had interests that belonged entirely to you. Sometimes relationships become so central to our lives that we forget who we were before them. Now is the time to reconnect with that person. Take a class. Start exercising. Learn a skill. Read books. Travel if you can. Develop your career. Create something meaningful. Every step you take toward becoming a better version of yourself serves two purposes. First, it helps you heal. Second, it makes you more attractive, not just to your ex, but to everyone around you. Growth creates confidence. Confidence creates presence. Presence creates attraction. People naturally notice those who are moving forward. Stop broadcasting your pain. Heartbreak hurts. There is nothing wrong with feeling sad. There is nothing wrong with crying. There is nothing wrong with seeking support. But constantly broadcasting your pain to your ex rarely creates the outcome you're hoping for. Sending messages about how miserable you are may generate sympathy, but sympathy is not attraction. Instead of showing them how broken you feel, focus on rebuilding yourself privately. Let your recovery speak for itself. Strength is not pretending everything is perfect. Strength is continuing to move forward despite the pain. Become unpredictable. During relationships, people often become predictable. Your ex knew your routine. They knew your habits. They knew what you would do on weekends. They knew how you would react. After a breakup, one of the most intriguing things you can become is unpredictable. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a reckless way. In a growth-oriented way. Try new experiences. Meet new people. Explore new interests. Challenge yourself. When someone realizes they no longer know everything about you, curiosity begins to emerge. Curiosity is powerful. People often miss not only who you were, but also the opportunity to discover who you're becoming. Create a life worth missing. This may be the most important point in this entire letter. You cannot force someone to miss you, but you can create a life that naturally leaves an impression. Think about the people who are unforgettable. They're not unforgettable because they begged for attention. They're unforgettable because of how they lived. They carried purpose. They carried passion. They carried energy. They inspired others. Focus on becoming that person. Build a life filled with meaning. Pursue goals that excite you. Surround yourself with positive influences. When your life becomes richer, people notice. And when they notice, they often begin to wonder what it would be like to be part of that life again. Avoid jealousy games. Many people try to make their ex miss them by making them jealous. They post photos with strangers. They exaggerate their happiness. They create stories designed to provoke reactions. Sometimes these tactics work temporarily, but temporary attention is not the same as genuine longing. Real attraction comes from authenticity. Jealousy may create curiosity. Character creates respect. Respect lasts longer. Instead of trying to make your ex jealous, focus on becoming genuinely happy. The difference is enormous. One is a performance. The other is reality. Reality always wins in the long run. Learn from the relationship. Every relationship teaches lessons. Some lessons are beautiful. Some lessons are painful. All of them are valuable. Ask yourself, what did this relationship teach me? What mistakes did I make? What habits should I improve? What strengths did I discover? Growth requires honesty, not self-blame. Honesty. The people who learn from heartbreak often emerge stronger than they were before. And strength is attractive. When your ex sees evidence of genuine maturity and self-awareness, they may begin to see you differently. Maintain your dignity. There is tremendous power in dignity. Dignity means respecting yourself even when your heart is hurting. It means refusing to beg. It means refusing to manipulate. It means refusing to abandon your standards. Some people think desperation demonstrates love. It doesn't. Desperation demonstrates fear. Love should never require you to lose your self-respect. Hold your head high. Carry yourself with grace. Respond with maturity. One day, regardless of what happens with your ex, you'll be grateful that you protected your dignity. Let time work. Time has a remarkable way of changing perspectives. Immediately after a breakup, emotions are often intense. People focus on problems, arguments, disappointments, frustrations. As time passes, memories often soften. People begin remembering the laughter, the adventures, the connection, the little moments they once took for granted. This doesn't happen because someone forced it. It happens naturally. That's why patience matters. You cannot rush emotional processes. Give time the opportunity to do what time does best. Become emotionally strong. One of the most attractive qualities a person can possess is emotional strength. Emotional strength doesn't mean never feeling pain. It means handling pain with resilience. Life will always present challenges. Breakups are one of them. Use this season as an opportunity to strengthen yourself emotionally. Practice gratitude. Develop healthy routines. Build meaningful friendships. Take care of your mental well-being. The stronger you become internally, the less dependent you become on external validation. And ironically, people are often drawn to those who are not seeking approval. Remember your worth. A breakup does not reduce your value. It does not erase your strengths. It does not diminish your potential. Sometimes relationships end because two people are no longer compatible. Sometimes timing is wrong. Sometimes circumstances change. Whatever the reason, your worth remains intact. Never define your value by another person's decision. Your worth existed before the relationship. It exists during the breakup. And it will exist long after this chapter ends. The moment you truly understand this, everything changes. Allow them to experience life without you. This is difficult. Perhaps the hardest step of all. You must allow your ex to experience life without your constant presence. Why? Because absence creates perspective. When you're always available, your value can become invisible. When you're gone, people often begin noticing what you contributed. Your conversations, your support, your humor, your kindness, your companionship. But this realization cannot be forced. It must happen naturally. Trust the process. Build new memories. One mistake many people make is living entirely in old memories. They replay conversations. They revisit old photos. They relive moments repeatedly. While reflection has value, living in the past prevents you from creating a future. Go make new memories. Visit new places. Try new experiences. Meet new people. Challenge yourself. The goal isn't to forget your ex. The goal is to remember that life continues. And often, when you start creating a fulfilling life, You discover strengths you never knew existed. Accept every possible outcome. This may be the most liberating advice you'll ever hear. Your goal should not be making your ex return. Your goal should be becoming the best version of yourself. Why? Because that outcome benefits you regardless of what happens next. If your ex returns, you'll be stronger. If they don't return, you'll still be stronger. Growth is never wasted. Healing is never wasted. Self-improvement is never wasted. The healthiest mindset is this: I would be happy if we found our way back to each other, but I will also be okay if we don't. That mindset creates freedom. Freedom creates confidence. Confidence creates attractiveness. The greatest secret. Now let's talk about the greatest secret of all. The people who are missed the most are often the people who stop trying to be missed. Think about that. When you become obsessed with making someone miss you, your attention remains focused on them. Your happiness depends on their reaction. Your progress depends on their validation. But when you focus on your own growth, something remarkable happens. You reclaim your power. You stop living for someone else's attention. You start living for your own purpose. And that shift changes everything. Whether your ex notices immediately, months later, or never at all becomes less important. Because your life is moving forward. And forward is where your future lives. A final message. Dear friend, if you're wondering how to make your ex miss you, remember this. Don't chase. Don't beg. Don't manipulate. Don't lose yourself. Instead, grow, heal, learn, improve, build, dream, move forward. Become so committed to creating a meaningful life that your happiness no longer depends on who stays or who leaves. Because the most powerful thing you can do after a breakup is not convincing someone else of your value. It's recognizing your value yourself. And when you do, something extraordinary happens. You become stronger. You become wiser. You become more confident. You become more complete. And whether your ex comes back or not, you win. Because you didn't just survive the heartbreak. You used it as the foundation for becoming the person you were always capable of being. With encouragement and hope. Someone who believes your best chapter has not been written yet.